July 1947, the dawn of the atomic age. The world stands divided, gripped by the chilling paranoia of the Cold War. And here in the desolate expanse of the New Mexico desert, something falls from the sky. Something that will ignite a mystery spanning generations, becoming the cornerstone of modern UFO lore. We're talking about Roswell. For decades, the name alone has conjured images of crashed alien spacecraft, government cover-ups, and otherworldly beings. But what really happened at Roswell in 1947? Was it truly visitors from another world, or something far more terrestrial, shrouded in layers of official secrecy? Today we open the file on the Roswell enigma, examining not just the events, but the reasons behind the conflicting stories, the enduring power of a narrative born in the heart of the Cold War desert. Our story begins, as many do, with conflicting accounts right from the start. Sometime during the first week of July 1947, rancher Mac Brazel discovered a field littered with unusual debris on the remote Foster Ranch, northwest of Roswell. The material was strange, metallic foil that remembered its shape, lightweight I-beams with peculiar markings resembling hieroglyphics, brittle plastics, tough paper-like substances. It wasn't anything Brazel, a man familiar with the desert and its contents, recognized.
Intrigued, perhaps concerned, Brazel gathered some material. Days later, he reported his find to Sheriff George Wilcox in Roswell. The sheriff, in turn, contacted Roswell Army Airfield, home of the 509th Bomb Group, the elite unit that had dropped the atomic bombs. Why involve the military's most sensitive atomic unit for mere weather debris? The question hangs in the air. Major Jesse Marcel, the base intelligence officer, was dispatched. Marcel, along with Captain Sheridan Cavett, visited the site. Marcel's later testimony described being baffled, convinced it was extraterrestrial. Cavett, however, would later dismiss it as mundane. Already, conflicting narratives emerge from those directly involved. Marcel collected samples. Then, on July 8th, the Roswell base issued its stunning press release. RAAF captures flying saucer. For a moment, official confirmation. But why? Was it a blunder? Or a deliberate, albeit short-lived, attempt at transparency? The answer remains elusive, because within hours the narrative slammed shut. Brigadier General Roger Ramey in Fort Worth, Texas, took command. Marcel was ordered to fly the debris immediately to Fort Worth. There, before reporters, Ramey displayed pieces of a standard weather balloon and radar reflector. The official story solidified: misidentification. Mac Brazel, after military detention and questioning, recanted his initial story, now aligning with the official explanation. Was he pressured or simply mistaken? The Roswell incident was officially closed, a simple error, case dismissed. But the questions, the inconsistencies, had only just begun to fester in the shadows. A brief pause in the timeline. The threads of history often lead down unexpected paths. Here at the Sombra Files, we follow those threads, examining the evidence left behind. If you wish to join these ongoing investigations, we invite you to subscribe and activate the notification bell, ensuring you're present when the next file is opened. Now, let us return to the desert.
For 30 years, silence. Then, physicist Stanton Friedman interviewed Jesse Marcel. The retired officer unleashed decades of suppressed conviction. The debris, he insisted, was otherworldly. The press conference material? A substitute, a deliberate cover-up. Why the deception, if it was just a balloon? Marcel's claims opened the floodgates. Dozens, then hundreds came forward. Military personnel, townsfolk, family members. Their accounts diverged wildly from the official narrative. They spoke not just of debris, but of a second crash site, closer to Roswell, where a more intact craft was allegedly found. They described military cordons sealing off vast areas. Mortician Glenn Dennis claimed bizarre inquiries from the base mortuary officer about child-sized, hermetically sealed coffins and preservation techniques for bodies exposed to the elements. He even claimed to have seen strange wreckage and encountered a distressed nurse who described small, non-human bodies. Walter Hott, the officer who wrote the original flying saucer press release, left a deathbed affidavit reaffirming his belief in an extraterrestrial craft, wreckage, and bodies he claimed to have personally seen in a base hangar. These testimonies are powerful, often emotional, but they emerged decades after the event. Can memory, influenced by time, suggestion, and the growing UFO mythology, be trusted implicitly? Or do these accounts point towards a truth far stranger than any balloon? The question isn't just what they saw, but why so many people, often risking ridicule or official pressure, maintained these extraordinary claims for so long.
Facing renewed scrutiny, the U.S. Air Force reopened the file in the 1990s. Their conclusion shifted: not a weather balloon, but Project Mogul, a top-secret program using high-altitude balloon trains, massive arrays carrying sensitive acoustic sensors designed to monitor Soviet nuclear tests. Why was Mogul so secret? Because revealing its existence in 1947 would have alerted the Soviets to America's espionage capabilities at the height of Cold War paranoia. Secrecy was paramount. The Air Force argued Mogul's complex arrays, with their radar reflectors made of foil, tape with unusual symbols, possibly manufacturer markings, and lightweight structural beams perfectly matched the descriptions of the strange debris. The intense secrecy surrounding Mogul, they claimed, necessitated the weather balloon cover story and explained the initial military lockdown and subsequent denials. A plausible explanation born from the very real anxieties of the era. But what about the bodies? The Air Force offered another explanation in a later report: Operation High Dive. Throughout the 1950s, crucially, after 1947, the military conducted experiments dropping anthropomorphic dummies from high altitudes over New Mexico to test parachute systems. These dummies, sometimes damaged upon impact, could, the Air Force suggested, have been mistaken for non-human bodies by civilians encountering crash sites years later, their memories perhaps conflating separate events with the 1947 Roswell incident. Is this a reasonable explanation for faulty memory over decades, or a convenient dismissal of disturbing testimony? So, the file presents us with a neat, tidy conclusion from the Air Force: Project Mogul for the debris, Operation High Dive for the bodies. A case of mistaken identity and necessary Cold War secrecy. Case closed. But this is where our real investigation begins.
Because the Sombra Files isn't just about what happened. It's about the why. And the official story is full of holes. Let's start asking the real questions. Why did the military issue a press release for a flying saucer in the first place? A catastrophic, career-ending mistake for an elite atomic bomb wing? Or a panicked first reaction to something they didn't understand? Why did they then insist for 30 years that it was a simple weather balloon, an explanation they knew was a lie? Why, only when pressured by researchers, did they offer a second official story, Project Mogul? A story that, while plausible for the debris, doesn't begin to explain the massive military cordon, the witness intimidation, or the immediate high-level response from a general in Fort Worth. And why is the Operation High Dive explanation for the bodies so flawed, using tests from the 1950s to explain events in 1947? This is the chain reaction of questions that never ends. The official narrative seems less like a revelation of the truth and more like a third, more sophisticated cover story, designed to finally put the questions to rest. They have told us the sky is blue, but they've done it with such force, with so many different explanations over 50 years, that we are left to ask the most important question of all. What are they still hiding? The Roswell file remains officially closed, but the questions and the evidence of a multi-decade deception remain wide open, hidden in the shadows. The Roswell file is closed, but this is just one of the hundreds of secrets still waiting in our archives. From the dark, fog-lit alleys of Whitechapel to the conspiracies that toppled kings, our investigation never stops. To make sure you don't miss what's next, click the subscribe button on your screen right now and activate the notification bell. And while you wait for the next file to be unsealed, click the playlist to start your next investigation immediately. We have a lot of work to do.